Halloween is built on a very specific kind of trust. We dress our children up, send them into the dark, and encourage them to take candy from complete strangers. For decades, an anxious urban legend has shadowed this tradition, the fear that an anonymous, deranged predator might slip poisoned treats into the bags of kids. In 1974, a Texas optician named Ronald O'Bryan appeared to be an ordinary, reliable suburban father, but he was about to weaponize that exact myth. The true horror of this case is the calculation O'Bryan made to violate the most basic protective duty of a parent. This chart tracks Ronald O'Bryan's private reality. While he maintained a middle-class image, he was drowning in a debt that had climbed well into six figures. His solution was to take out massive life insurance policies on his 8-year-old son Timothy and his 5-year-old daughter Elizabeth. These new columns show how the potential payout was designed to instantly erase his financial failures. He finalized these policies just days before Halloween and did it entirely without his wife's knowledge. By secretively insuring his children for such high amounts, O'Bryan had effectively turned Timothy and Elizabeth into the literal solutions for his insolvency. On the evening of October 31st, Ronald joined his children and a group of neighbors for a traditional trick-or-treating walk. During the night, he personally handed out 5 large tubes of Pixy Stix candy, giving 1 to each of his children and 3 to the neighbors' kids. This schematic shows what O'Bryan had done to the candy beforehand. He had unsealed the tubes and replaced the top layer of sugar with potassium cyanide. This highlighted section shows the lethal dose for a child. It is a terrifyingly small amount of powder, yet the tubes O'Bryan distributed were packed with far more than enough to be fatal. While the neighbors saw a cheerful father participating in a holiday tradition, O'Bryan was moving through the group, handing a chemical weapon to every child in his care. Before bed, 8-year-old Timothy asked to eat some of his haul and chose the Pixy Stix. The poisoned powder had hardened inside the tube, making it difficult to open. Ronald stepped in and personally twisted the cap off for his son. Timothy consumed the poison and began screaming in pain almost immediately. He died in his father's arms while they were still on the way to the hospital. Only sheer luck prevented a much higher death toll. The other 4 children, including Timothy's sister, didn't eat their candy. One boy survived simply because he fell asleep before he could get the tube open. O'Bryan was willing to let his daughter and the neighbors' children die, just to provide the cover of a random, anonymous poisoning for his primary target. O'Bryan's plan was to lean into the stranger danger myth, hoping the police would spend their time hunting for a phantom neighborhood lunatic. This timeline tracks the hours following Timothy's death. While his son was pronounced dead late on Halloween night, Ronald was already on the phone with the insurance company the very next morning to start his claim. This display of greed was so blatant that investigators immediately pivoted. They stopped looking for a stranger and focused entirely on the grieving father. The same financial desperation that drove O'Bryan to kill was the exact thing that exposed him. His impatience to collect the money left no room for his alibi to survive. O'Bryan was arrested and convicted. The public and the press, revolted by the calculated nature of the murder, gave him a permanent name, the Candyman. His final sentence was carried out in a Texas prison, where he was executed by lethal injection. On the night of his execution, crowds of protesters gathered outside the walls. In a final, chilling irony, they spent the night chanting, "Trick or treat." Ronald O'Bryan tried to hide behind a holiday myth to mask his greed. Instead, he became the real-world monster that changed Halloween forever.